Hi everyone, it's Lucky and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is the start of week 5, and for this week I'm going to be covering marine life, so fish, crustaceans, maybe some coral as well, and octopus, squids, jellyfish, whatever lives in the ocean. Maybe also some dolphins and sharks if I can get to it. But without further ado, but I won't bore you anymore with the context, with what I'm going to do. So let's just get straight into it. Alright, so the first day consisted of me drawing fish. Surprisingly, I couldn't find a lot of variety of fish to reference off of, but I think I made a mistake by looking for just fish references and not specific species of fish, so I definitely have to keep in mind to be more specific in the future on what exactly I'm looking for when trying to find references for my drawings. Overall though, the first day was quite easy, and that's probably because I did very basic fish, I did some mackerel, some tuna, and then carp, which all have the basic shape. I really wish that I chose a bit more interesting shaped fish, something like angelfish, sesame fighting fish, catfish, Nemo fish, Dory fish, you get it, just more interesting shape. But I was already thinking for animals in general, not just marine animals, also land animals, tree animals, birds, insects, just the animal kingdom in general. I would definitely have to have a whole separate sketchbook for it, because there's just so many different animals and subspecies that I have to study, and not just because it's for drawing purposes, but just because I'm genuinely interested on how the body structure of the animal is. So it's definitely something I need to get down to once I am more comfortable with drawing. Following my fairly successful drawing attempts from day 1, on day 2 I decided to challenge myself a bit more and try different crustaceans, although I didn't exactly know what classified as a crustacean, aside from crabs, hermit crabs, lobsters. But the series isn't about watching me draw super good, it's about me learning how to draw, so I didn't have too many high expectations for this day, and rightfully so, because it was very difficult. For this one I really wanted to find some reference drawing that broke down the different parts and shapes to 12 different crustaceans I tried to draw that day, but it didn't work out so well. I could either find just them in their natural habitats or recipes of how to cook them. So to say I was struggling on this day is an understatement. I was really struggling. I find it really difficult, very discouraging at some parts. But like usual, I don't try to be too critical of myself, since I am just learning and I will make mistakes while I'm learning. And if I didn't make any mistakes, then, well, I would be very surprised if I didn't. And secondly, why am I doing this series then? If I'm not making any mistakes, which most artists, even if they know what they're doing, still make mistakes too. So after having a good cry in the corner of my room, I pick myself up, continue to drawing for the rest of the day. On day 3, seashells were my main priority. Well, not main priority, but I really wanted to draw some seashells and I thought there would be such an interesting variety of them. And while there are different types of seashells, most of them have like similar shapes to them, other than like maybe a few different patterns. And I managed to find quite a few seashells that were different sizes, shapes, and had different patterns on them. And while I usually don't add too much detail to my drawings just for time's sake and for my own sanity's sake, I did try to implement some of the stuff for this because the main factor of seashells are the patterns they have on the outside, so I tried my best to incorporate it into the drawings without taking too much time drawing them. On the second to last day, I decided that I wanted to try my hand at coral. Looking back on it, I don't know exactly why I chose such simplistic coral, since you know corals can be such a wide variety and such a diverse and beautiful shapes and colors. Not that I'm doing colors, but you know, I can still admire them. So I remember while I was drawing all this, I'm like, yes, well, they are nice drawings, but they're quite very simple, very basic. You know, I think a blind 3-year-old child could draw this same thing and look just as good or even better than what I'm drawing right now. So once I finished sketching out all the drawings, I went back because one of the reference drawings I had was it was a reference drawing, but it was like a drawing of the coral and it was shaded. So I'm like, I'm gonna try doing that. I'm gonna try shading it. And when I first started, it didn't look that great. As you can see, it was a very trust the process kind of thing. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna follow the image, see how some of the shading is darker, where it's lighter, and see how it turns out. And surprisingly, it didn't look half bad. At least by the time I was finished with it. During the whole thing, I was like, yeah, this doesn't look that good. And then when I finished and I stepped back and I looked at it, I'm like, this actually doesn't look half bad. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try doing for the other ones. And for the other ones, it started the same way. I was like, doesn't look that great, and it's kind of blending in too much with the drawing, but I'm like, it's fine, trust the process. And yeah, it turned out really nice. At least I still think it turned out nice. I don't know, maybe you guys will think otherwise, but I think it turned out pretty alright for my first attempt at shading coral. And last but certainly not least, on day 5, I decided it was kind of a free-for-all day, you know, I was feeling adventurous, I was feeling spicy. So I decided for that day I was just gonna draw aquatic animals, you know, like sharks, dolphins, whales, all that good stuff. So I started off with a shark and then worked my way to the other sea animals. And one thing I really wanted to do is I wanted to draw a sea cow or a manatee, whatever you want to call them, because manatees are just cute little blobs of fat that need to be protected at all costs. I mean, just look at them and their cute little face. Oh, I love them so much. And these are the final result of this week. I completely forgot to talk during this part, so you're still getting voiceover lucky. I hope that's not too annoying. So here's just a brief look at all of them. Like usual, some days were harder than others, but overall I really enjoyed it. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning on in and continuing to watch me while on my journey. Hope to keep seeing you all throughout the weeks and to see some new faces as well. But as always, Lucky out.